we know now that the holiday shopping season got a great start in November based on this morning's economic data. John Hermann is chief economist at Hermann Forecasting, and he says that consumers are tapping into savings and beginning to spend, and he has a more bullish outlook, even more bullish than before. What does this mean for the future of our economy? Well, John joins us now to talk about it. You have raised, as a result of this and a couple of the other numbers that came in, your GDP expectations.
I mean, this is really good news. We're starting to get we were ahead of the street looking for inventory cycle to start ramping in the first quarter. Street was looking for really to start in the second quarter. Now we're starting to pull that forward into the fourth quarter. So a very big swing in inventories this quarter should add about 3% plus to GDP in this quarter alone. And then what's going to pick up the slack, in addition to the inventory swing, consumer spending. We were looking for 3% plus year-on-year gains in holiday retail sales. We're definitely going to get this.
Does it pull growth forward, though, John? I mean, you're looking at 5.2% now for fourth quarter GDP, and you actually reduced your first quarter GDP forecast a little bit for next quarter. Does it look like the rest of the year?
We pulled first quarter down. We've got close to 5. We got 5% plus is what we're looking for the fourth quarter. 4% for the first quarter, and then it's most likely going to be the case that we will not go below 3% for the rest of the year. So this is very powerful. This is not like what people would say, an 8% V-shaped thing, but that's actually very powerful gain in GDP.
Let's talk about the number that probably is most important to people on Main Street here, and that's the unemployment number. Right. When do we actually add jobs here? When do we turn it around?
Okay, so what we're looking for is this. We look for about 600,000 jobs to be added, somewhere between 500 and 600,000, actually in the first 3 to 4 months of next year. So you're not going to have to wait very long for the job growth coming, first thing. Second thing is, even in this month of November, consumers' income is being driven. We actually have a pretty decent gain built in and expected for the month of November. That's what powered the consumer spending this month. We have like 0.5%, 0.4, 0.5 gain in personal income for this month due to hours, work lengthening, decent gain in wages. So we're actually in pretty good shape. Next year, again, about 600,000 job gains, first 4 months of the year. That's going to get us off running. Unemployment rate starts coming down as soon as we cross over as soon as we turn over the threshold.
Let me ask you quickly. You say that you think consumers are tapping savings
as well.
It's hard to understand this, and I talked a lot with Kathleen Hayes about it. If you look at the average consumer, right, 122% debt compared to annual income, but the average consumer isn't the one who's out shopping, right? Or at least there are some outliers that drag that number up.
I mean, I think the thing is, people have to, you have to really understand, you have to look at the dynamics and the demographics of what's going on with this savings and, who's losing jobs, where's the strains and stresses in the consumer financial markets, that kind of thing. But bottom line is, savings basically got built up to about 500 billion to 600 billion early part of this year out of sheer panic. And now consumers are tapping in, and that's a pretty good reservoir of savings to tap into. But again, this month alone, we're seeing hours worked rise, personal income is rising, so that's also helping to feed into spending. And once we get going in the first 4 or 5 months of next year, we're going to get inventories turning up. We're going to get more recalls of workers to the production lines. We're going to get hours worked up. Income is going to be up, and it'll become more self-reinforcing. So the kind of skepticism that we keep hearing now should definitely be leaving the markets.
All right,
so,
John.
Stocks much higher. I agree with the previous guest. 1,300 S&P definitely seems reasonable.
All right. Well, you got the non-farm payrolls number, right? We'll continue to track these things and see if you keep hitting home runs here. John Hermann from Hermann Forecasting.